Hey, welcome back to the Artie Lang Show. And I'm sitting here with the great Fred Stoller, a real funny comic who I've known for years. We had one of our classic, we're such girls, we had one of our classic old-time phone conversations the other night where we just comforted each other. It was so much fun, Freddie Stoller and I. Maybe We'll Have You Back is the name of the book.
And you had me back.
Yes, I did. The Life of a Perennial TV Guest Star, Fred Stoller. So we were talking forward, by the way, by Ray Romano. And on the cover, Fred Stoller is always funny. And guess who said that? Chris Rock said that, okay? And leafing through the book, real funny. I read a couple of full chapters. You were telling me a great story the other night on the phone. When you were a teenager, I guess this was. Right? No, not a teenager, a young adult.
Young adult.
You dated Ben Stiller's sister.
Well, I did the...
and you said Ben Stiller is a 14, 15-year-old would sort of taunt you.
He would beat me up.
What? You mean physically beat you up?
Well, he kind of... Do you remember Chris Christopherson movie where...
Convoy?
No, these kids killed Chris Christopherson because they're jealous of the mother. He kind of made references to that. He was jealous.
What's the name of the movie?
I forgot. The moon always rises.
Oh, really? No,
I forgot.
Chris Christopherson movies I'm a little dazed on. I know Convoy from the 70s with Burt Young and Franklin Ajayi.
Right.
Right, but no, I don't know. So what?
No.
He would beat you up and make references to that film?
Where they killed the... He didn't like that I was sort of, with his bigger sister. I don't know. It was a weird jealousy.
So he was protective of his sister, which is kind of normal, but
he would taunt me, oh, you're going to go with the provider? Fred the provider? You'll never be a provider. And he was right. And
wait a minute. So you're dating... How old are you at this point?
I was 22.
You're 22, and his sister's 22 as well?
No, she was like 18 or 19.
Okay, it's a nice
and
age
I would go
difference,
there,
whatever, and it's a normal situation.
Did I tell you what the joke, the Ann Mirror thing?
And well, wait. So a lot of people have Ben Stiller. I don't know. Maybe you don't even know this. You're not a real fan of comedy. Ben Stiller's parents are a legendary comedy team.
Yes.
Jerry Stiller and Ann Mirror. Ann Mirror not as famous as Jerry Stiller because Jerry's had Seinfeld and
well, Ben taunted her that she'd never be the provider.
King of Queens. And so they, have Ben. Ben at the time was what, 14 or 15?
14, and he had these credit cards. He would buy like, $100 worth of masks. He'd just go out. Like,
masks?
Yeah, I remember he liked masks.
Oh, okay.
A lot.
And then, so this is in Manhattan?
Yeah. There was the Upper East Side. They liked Gilbert. They did this friend of Amy
Gilbert
Stiller.
Godfrey.
Yes. And the three of Gilbert didn't. He lived at home with his mother till like 37 or something.
So while Gilbert was on Saturday Night Live from 80 to 81 one year. So while he did that, he
lived the bus.
He lived at home with his mom.
Yeah, for years.
And is he from Manhattan or Brooklyn, Gilbert?
I think he's from Brooklyn, but then they lived in the projects.
When'd you meet Gilbert?
When I was, just starting comedy, we'd hang out.
So you met through comedy?
Yeah.
So he lived in the projects in Manhattan, Gilbert?
Till he was like 30-something.
Really?
Yeah, remember Stern used to do fun.
I know. Howard used to always talk about that aspect of it. I didn't realize it was the projects, actually.
Yeah, like Avenue A and...
so like major poverty?
Yeah. It was cheap. Yeah, he made himself poverty.
Now, how did
I remember I had like a... Did I tell you about the bulimic girlfriend?
You think she was bulimic, or she just threw up at the sight of you?
I dated this woman before.
I'm sorry, Fred, I'm bulimic.
before bulimia was like on Ricky Lake and on the news and everything, and you knew what it was.
And all over your jacket.
This woman I dated was crying because there's something I can't tell you, and I go, what? She goes, I like dating you because you go to the bathroom a lot.
What?
And I go, why? She goes, because I don't feel funny when I go and I throw up. So I made her feel good but I go, but I wasn't, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
She goes, well, I like to, I don't know, my father gives me money for pizza and I don't like it, so I feel I have to throw it up.
My father gives me money for pizza.
Or something.
This is pizza money, not Fred Stoller money.
Right.
This is pizza money. Wait a minute, let me get back to the... So Amy Stiller is Ben Stiller's...
older sister.
Okay. Now, you meet her through Gilbert because she liked Gilbert?
There was a friend of Amy's that had a crush on Gilbert, And she goes, "We want to be your groupies." And early, you know, what were you, baseball or football? I forgot.
Football.
Okay. You would sports groupies are real groupies where they do things. You know what I'm
They have
saying?
sex.
They have sex. But comedian groupies means, hey, we think we like you. So, you know. So Gilbert
Can you
goes,
introduce us to a football player?
yeah. So they go, "We want to be your groupies." And Gilbert goes, "You're gonna, you know, bang us?" They go, "No." And then he started spitting at them through the window
did.
at Catch. Yes,
He
he
did.
would
At
spit.
Catch a Rising
Yeah,
Star.
you know that he went out. He went in so.
The one on the Upper East
Yeah,
Side.
he
the old one,
spits. He
yeah.
spits at women when they're not good groupies. So,
Oh, my
so,
God.
so there was the woman like Gilbert, and so Gilbert was living at home, so he had nowhere to take what he thought were 3 groupies. So I had an apartment.
3 women, Amy Stiller being one of them.
Yes, and this
Okay.
other one who became a doctor and a crazy one because like Gilbert.
Right.
So I had an apartment. It was a 5th floor walk up with a bathroom and shower in the hall.
Sexy.
Yeah.
A bathroom and shower that you shared with other people?
No, not the group. I did.
No, wait. You shared it with other people in the building.
Yes, and that's when.
So like a flop house type of thing.
Yeah, but it was a way to get out of my mother's house. You know,
but that is hard, man. That's hard living.
Oh no, I did the peeing in the sink a lot because because the guy would pee in the bathroom.
Yeah, Steve.
And I was there 3 years.
So
God,
the way to
it
get
got
out
me out of the house.
The way to get out of the house with your mom.
And I remember with my mother, she's this whatever. Freddie, when I wanted to walk the dog, no, you don't know how. Things are hard. Did I tell you the Charlie story?
No.
When I was a kid, we saw the movie Charlie. Do you know what Charlie is?
No.
He was mentally retarded. And
Martin Sheen. Oh, no. What's his face? Who played
Cliff
him?
Robertson.
Cliff Robertson.
He
Won
was-
an Oscar, right?
Yeah. And he was up against Alan Arkin, who was a deaf mute that year. So it was all people like that. So he takes medicine
Yeah, get
and
with it,
experiment.
John.
People like that.
And then he's not mentally challenged because you can't say that.
Yeah.
And then the drug wears off. So after the movie, me, my mother and father, you get the New York Times on Saturday night, and I dropped it. My mother goes, "You're just like Charlie." She grew up, yelling I was something wrong with
That
me.
was a theme where she called you, because when you started
Yes.
stand-up, she called you retarded.
Yes. And she went to a support group, Mothers of Retarded Children. Back then, you could say that.
Mothers of comedians.
Yeah.
My mother, I tell you, my mother could use that one. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
Now, wait a minute. So let's back up because you're jumping around. So the Amy Stiller thing with Gilbert. Explain this. So you got to know her because
one of the
Gilbert
woman,
needed a place to go.
Yeah, he
with
said
them.
he had
So you
nowhere
all
to-
went to your place, which was a place, one of the Upper East Side places.
Upper West Side at
Upper
first.
West Side. And back in the 70s, Upper West Side was a really bad area.
Yeah. I got beat up there, and Amy and
Well, that's any
on
area.
84th. And she goes, "Well, you know how you walk around in your own world. Sometimes maybe you deserved it," because she didn't want to have to deal with being
But
compassionate.
through the Gilbert connection, you start to quote unquote date Amy Stiller.
Yeah, I dated her.
You dated her.
Yes.
And when you would, at the time, you're 22, she's 18.
And I would like sleep over at their house on
Which I'm sure
84th.
was they were very
big,
successful.
Big, crazy
Yeah.
place. And,
Right.
and I remember I'm sleeping in the bed, and Ann Mira goes, "Wake up, you two. Amy can't sleep all day like you do." Yeah.
Wait, so because Ann Mira and Jerry Stiller were very successful, they must have had a very big apartment.
Yeah, a big
Yeah.
thing. I remember they flew me to Nantucket, to their big house there.
Yeah. Ben Stiller always talks about that in interviews. How they grew up in Nantucket.
And I remember, I was like, the word retarded,
Yeah.
and which you can't say, and I just did. And I remember it's like Jewish jokes. Where Jews are allowed to make Jewish jokes, I can make retarded jokes.
You can make Jewish and retarded.
Yeah, I got them both. And so I remember we're at this big place in Nantucket, this restaurant, and back then, it's 1980, lobster was $20, which is cheap now. I go, $20? That's how much shoes cost. And you're embarrassing us. It's like Eddie Murphy, the guy from the ghetto in Beverly Hills. What are you talking about? Lobster? How do you order that?
Is that your black accent?
Yeah.
Oh my God! And you're worried about saying retarded, and you're basically doing Al Jolson. so no, wait a minute. Okay, so. But the funny part about the story is that Ben Stiller, a 14-year-old, sort of seemed like a little snotty.
And
he's going, "Oh yeah, you'll be a good provider."
Yeah. Hey, you're going with the provider? And he would he didn't like me around. He'd go, "Hey, Fred, don't you have a set to do? Hey, go do your comedy set."
Mocking you.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't like, because Ben Stiller never did stand-up. Maybe he doesn't like stand-up, the set.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cut to 30 years later when I auditioned for him, hey, Fred, hey, provider, what do you do now?
Did he ever call you in for an audition?
Yeah, which I didn't get.
For what?
Well, I auditioned for something on Dodgeball, and I remember them saying, well, you'll get something, and I got nothing. So something on Dodgeball. And then...
This is how LA, this is how show business works. It's this is a common story.
Well,
it's the
actually-
most undignified business.
Let me tell you something.
Is there a less dignified
I'm
business
bitter.
on
Actually,
the planet?
I took him to comedy clubs because he wanted to be a comedian. I would
Right.
take him around. And then I did Star Search in '84, and he was nice to me because he was doing interning on the Alan Thicke
I have
show.
to say this, and people those who listen to me a lot, I badmouth Tom Cruise because I had a bad experience with him on Jerry Maguire. So I'm honest with people. I don't care about losing work.
Well, who were you in
at
Jerry
this
Maguire?
point.
I'm sorry.
I got cut out of the movie.
Okay.
But you
it's-
still see half of my arm in the scene. But I work.
And you get residuals.
I do. I get residuals. I worked 2 14-hour days on Jerry Maguire. It was the scene where Kelly Preston and him break up, and she punches him in the face. And I had like a bunch of lines, and it all got cut out. Cameron Crowe was super nice to me. He said, look, he called me up and said, it didn't work, but we love what you did. Maybe we'll work together in the future, which has never happened. But I did get residuals, and Cameron Crowe couldn't have been nicer. But these 2 days, I'm just being honest. I've heard he's a nice guy. Tom Cruise treated me like El Crapo. I mean,
No, I'm
it's like
not-
nothing, like
I'm
something
not
on his
bad.
shoe. But Ben
I'm not
Stiller,
bad-mouthing Ben Stiller.
You're not. I'm
Just
saying,
when he was
you're telling an
14
honest,
and he
you're
punched.
telling an honest story. I've worked with Ben Stiller, a film I did not get cut out of, unfortunately, Mystery Men. And I met him on Stern a couple of times. He could not have been nicer to me every time I met Ben Stiller. He's always very nice.
No,
to me.
I'm
so
saying
I
this
like
jestingly.
him. But you're telling a true story.
We
about
had
it.
fun when
He was a kid.
When I did Star Search, we were hanging out. I went with him to Disneyland where he bought another mask. I don't know. And so no. And I just auditioned for another thing I didn't get. I feel like I got to be Morgan Freeman at the end of Shawshank.
Or maybe
Like,
talented.
you know,
Let's wait.